Hey everyone, Sumo Spiffy here. I know the title of this video might have looked like clickbait, but it's no overstatement. The Japan Sumo Association is set to meet on Friday to discuss whether to follow a recommendation that Hokuseiho be forced to retire from professional sumo due to bullying and abuse allegations, and Hokuseiho has indicated he's willing to retire. Coach Miyagino, previously Hakuho, aka the GOAT, is already set to be demoted to the lowest rank available for sumo elders under 65. The obvious question is, what exactly happened? As is generally the case with these situations, granular detail is difficult to come by. Hokuseiho was charged with repeated violence against stablemates, and according to Nikon Sports, he also stole money out of their wallets. Here's one of the paragraphs from the Nikon article. According to association officials, it was discovered that Hokuseiho had been stealing money from other wrestlers' wallets during their training sessions and assaulting young wrestlers. Some point out that his kleptomania has been going on since his school days. The victim of the attack had consulted with his master, Master Miyagino, but some said that he did not come up with proper countermeasures. The association learned of the situation through posts on social media and began hearing the matter. According to another person involved, there was already a rift in the relationship between master and student, and when Hokuseiho took a break from his first tournament in January, Master Miyagino and Master Magaki, formerly Ishiura, said, "You're not good enough." He said to have scolded him in a harsh tone, saying, "I won't put you in the ring." Obviously, this is bad, but it's largely left to the imagination as to just how bad. Whatever you think would get a guy kicked out, you're allowed to believe. But as a counterexample, I want to look at the recent revelations of Oshoma's bullying at Naruto's stable. If you remember the story, back in November, a young wrestler from the stable retired and went on record with what Oshoma was allowed to do to his lower-ranked stablemates. Here's the story as posted on Twitter, because the article it links to is no longer up. Juryo wrestler Oshoma has been accused of numerous brutal acts of power harassment by Anzai, a promising 21-year-old ex-Makushita wrestler, and two other former Naruto deshi. The three young men claim Oshoma's sadistic behavior began when he was promoted to Juryo. Anzai claims Oshoma would violently attack him during training. "He targeted my elbow that had recently been operated on after an injury. Oshoma would yell, 'What are you going to do about it?' He punched me in the eye, causing me to lose eyesight for days. He did this because he was angry about losing a practice bout." In addition to Anzai, there are other victims who have been injured when targeted by Oshoma. More than one said that he fractured their sternum by climbing on top of and jumping on their chests. And Naruto saw and knew. Oyakata would turn his eyes downward to not see whenever things started to get out of control. When I turned to him for help, he said, "That's how it was in the old days. I decided to retire when I realized our Oyakata would never protect us. I was given a 5-minute Danpatsu Shiki without allowing a photo to be taken." A Danpatsu Shiki is a retirement ceremony. Retirement for sumo wrestlers is permanent, so that's a big deal. When reporters from Shuken Shinto rang Naruto Oyakata's cell phone, it hung up the moment they said their names. Since August, 3 Rikishi have quit and 2 more announced their retirement. Addendum: the 3 Makushita who quit are Hokuyozan, Sakurai, and Anzai, who had the most potential to become a Sekitori. Sadly, Anzai has spoken of contemplating suicide, of jumping from the building, from the hopelessness of his abusive stable life. Oshoma's been accused of all that, and with 5 retirements, including 3 younger wrestlers, it's hard to imagine none of that was true. But we haven't heard a peep about any sort of punishment for him or Coach Naruto, even though this story shows Naruto as having a clear inability to rein in Oshoma. So, setting aside what we might think should have happened to Oshoma or Naruto, this report came out and led to no type of public reprimand whatsoever. So what in the world did Hokuseiho do? This is not to say that his bullying must have been infinitely worse than Oshoma stomping on guys. You can only get so much worse before you kill somebody. Even though it was only reported by one outlet that I'm aware of so far, I'm inclined to think the theft aspect is true since, a whole bunch of violence between stablemates is sumo life, but stealing's probably a step too far. But still, the violence must have been pretty out of control. And when you look at Hokuseiho, a 22-year-old who's been thrust into a position of money, fame, and popularity through a sport that's all about hitting people, it's easy to understand how someone in that position is at a higher risk of either becoming a bully or letting loose with whatever bullying nature he developed growing up. For his part, Coach Miyagino says he was entirely unaware of what was going on. But the Nikon Sports article puts the lie to that as well, with the report of the wrestler who told him Hokuseiho attacked him or stole his money. It's not clear which one of those things he was talking about. It's hard to imagine he didn't see Hokuseiho do anything that could be viewed as bullying, but it's almost worse if he didn't know. For him to be unaware of problems that now lead to his top wrestler being forced out of the sport shows a serious lack of attention to his charges, and that may be why Chunichi's report says the future management method of Miyagino's stable is expected to be discussed. As for Hokuseiho, apparently he said that he is truly and honestly remorseful, but that really sounds like the remorse of someone who got caught. In any case, it looks like Hokuseiho is done, and once again, we can only hope this keeps pushing the sport towards a better way of handling its athletes. Well, that'll do it for today. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.